For nearly 70 years, the United States Navy stood at the top as the most feared military force on the planet. No nation wanted to test it, and honestly, most knew they couldn't. American aircraft carriers dominated oceans, seas, and critical waterways across the globe. Whenever conflict started, one question always came first, where are the carriers? Because once those carriers showed up, America controlled the situation fast. But behind the scenes, something serious was changing. For more than 3 decades, China poured huge amounts of money, advanced technology, and military focus into one massive mission: turn America's aircraft carriers into giant targets instead of unstoppable weapons. That country is China, and over the past few years, many defense experts believe Beijing has made huge progress toward that goal.
But analysts believe Beijing is moving aggressively.
Now we're breaking down 7 powerful weapons and military systems China reportedly developed to challenge the United States Navy. By the time we reach number 1, it'll be clear why top American military leaders are watching these developments so closely right now. This countdown keeps getting more intense with every step. Number 7 is already enough to grab global attention, but number 1 could completely change how people look at the balance of power in the Pacific Ocean. So let's jump into it. Number 7, the DF-27 missile, a weapon that reportedly has the range to threaten targets far beyond China's borders. Analysts have called it one of the most serious military developments seen in recent years. The DF-27 is not just being talked about as a carrier threat or a weapon aimed at military bases. Analysts say this missile could potentially reach parts of the continental United States, and that possibility has raised major concern inside defense circles. In late 2025, the Pentagon stated in its annual China military report that the DF-27 had already been deployed. Not a prototype, not something years away, but an active system reportedly ready for operation.
Advanced combat aircraft at a pace few countries can currently match. Some estimates indicate.
What makes the DF-27 stand out is its hypersonic glide vehicle. After launch, the vehicle separates, enters the upper atmosphere, and moves at extreme speeds while constantly shifting direction. It can change altitude, maneuver unpredictably, and make tracking far more difficult for missile defense systems. America's missile defense network, built with hundreds of billions of dollars over decades, was mainly designed to stop missiles following more predictable flight paths. But reports say the DF-27 was created to make interception much harder by maneuvering during flight instead of staying on a fixed path. That's one reason military analysts keep calling it a serious challenge for existing defense systems. The reported range is around 8,000 kilometers, and that distance changes the conversation fast. From eastern China, locations like Hawaii, Alaska, parts of the US Pacific network, and key military positions could reportedly fall within reach. Defense experts have also pointed out another major concern. The DF-27 is believed to support both conventional and nuclear payloads. Some reports even claim it may have the capability to target moving aircraft carriers deep in the Pacific Ocean, which has raised alarms among military planners worldwide.
That possibility has triggered concern among defense planners across the Indo-Pacific region.
The same missile platform reportedly supports 2 very different missions. One version is designed around strategic deterrence, while another could potentially target major naval assets like aircraft carriers worth billions of dollars. Defense analysts say that flexibility is one reason China's missile programs have become such a huge focus for military planners worldwide. For decades, the Pacific Ocean was seen as a major security advantage for the United States, but newer long-range systems are starting to challenge that idea in a big way. Now let's move to number 6, the DF-21D, often called the world's first carrier-killer ballistic missile. To understand why the DF-21D got so much attention, many experts point back to the 1996 Taiwan Strait crisis. During that tense period, the United States sent 2 aircraft carrier strike groups through the region as a show of military strength. The move sent a powerful message to China and demonstrated how dominant American naval power was at the time. China reportedly saw that moment as a major wake-up call. Military leaders realized they lacked the systems needed to challenge carrier groups operating close to their coastline. And according to defense analysts, that experience pushed Beijing to heavily invest in advanced anti-ship missile technology for years afterward. Chinese military officials and state media have often described the events of the 1990s as a turning point, and many analysts say that pressure helped drive the development of the DF-21D. Over the following decades, China focused heavily on creating systems designed to challenge large naval forces operating near its region. The DF-21D quickly became one of the most talked about weapons in that effort because it was reportedly designed to target moving aircraft carriers at sea. Unlike traditional ballistic missiles that follow a more fixed path toward a stationary target, the DF-21D is believed to use a maneuverable re-entry vehicle during the final stage of flight. Defense reports claim the warhead can adjust course while descending at extremely high speed, making interception far more difficult for ship defenses. Military experts say the missile's rapid approach gives naval radar systems very little reaction time once it enters the final attack phase. The reported range is around 1,500 kilometers, and analysts believe multiple launch systems are already positioned along China's eastern coastline facing the Pacific. Another reason the missile gets so much attention is because there's very limited public evidence showing how effective current defenses would be against it in a real combat situation.
And continues strengthening military coordination with the United States and regional partners.
The United States has spent years developing defenses against ballistic missile threats, but analysts say the DF-21D's maneuvering capability creates a far more difficult challenge compared to older systems. Its ability to adjust course during the final stage of flight is one reason military experts continue to debate how effective current naval defenses would be in a real-world conflict scenario. Now moving to number 5, the YJ-20 hypersonic anti-ship missile. In late 2025, China released rare military footage that immediately grabbed the attention of defense analysts around the world. The video reportedly showed a YJ-20 missile launching directly from a surface warship operating in open water. That detail changed the conversation fast because it suggested the weapon could be deployed from mobile naval platforms instead of only submarines or land-based launch sites. Experts say that flexibility could allow the missile to operate across a much wider area as China continues expanding this naval fleet. The YJ-20 reportedly travels at hypersonic speed, making it an extremely difficult target to track and respond to in real time. Defense analysts say one of the missile's most concerning features is its reported attack pattern during the final stage of flight. Instead of approaching on a flatter path like many traditional anti-ship missiles, reports claim the YJ-20 can sharply change direction before diving down toward its target from above. That matters because many naval defense systems were primarily designed to counter threats approaching from lower angles across the horizon. A fast-moving missile descending at steep angles could create serious challenges for radar tracking and interception systems. Military experts continue studying whether current ship defenses are fully prepared to respond to that type of attack profile. Now think about what that could mean for an aircraft carrier during a major conflict. The flight deck is one of the most important parts of the ship because it allows aircraft to launch, land, and operate effectively. If that area suffers serious damage, the carrier's ability to project air power could be heavily reduced, turning one of the world's most advanced warships into a far more vulnerable target at sea. Analysts say this is exactly why anti-ship missile systems have become such a major focus in modern naval warfare discussions. Reports suggest the YJ-20 could potentially be launched from multiple ships at once, creating the possibility of coordinated attacks from different directions. Defense experts say that scenario would place enormous pressure on naval defense systems during combat situations. Now moving to number 4, the DF-26, often referred to by analysts as the Guam Killer. The DF-26 earned the nickname Guam Killer because analysts say its range could allow it to strike targets connected to one of America's most important military positions in the Pacific. Guam plays a major role in U.S. operations across the Asia-Pacific region and is home to key facilities like Andersen Air Force Base and Naval Base Guam. Those locations are considered critical hubs for logistics, aircraft operations, and naval activity throughout the region. Reports estimate the DF-26 can travel more than 4,000 kilometers, which would place Guam within its potential range from mainland China, but military experts say the missile's importance goes far beyond land targets alone. The DF-26 is also believed to have anti-ship capabilities, meaning it could potentially target moving naval forces, including aircraft carriers operating far out at sea. That combination has made it one of the most closely watched missile systems in China's arsenal. Another major concern discussed by defense analysts is the missile's reported dual-capable design. The DF-26 is believed to support both conventional and nuclear payloads, creating uncertainty during any potential launch detection. Experts say that ambiguity could increase pressure during military decision-making because commanders may have only minutes to assess the situation and respond. According to defense analysts, missiles like the DF-26 have changed the strategic map of the Pacific in a major way. In the past, U.S. aircraft carriers could operate farther from China's coastline while still maintaining strong reach across the region. But longer-range missile systems have reportedly forced military planners to rethink those positions, pushing carrier groups farther away from potential conflict zones. Experts say that distance can make air operations more difficult and reduce how quickly carriers can respond during fast-moving situations. Many analysts argue that modern missile technology is not necessarily about defeating aircraft carriers head-on in a traditional naval battle. Instead, the goal is often to limit where carriers can safely operate and reduce their strategic effectiveness through range and constant pressure. Now moving to number 3, AI drone swarms. This is the point where modern warfare starts sounding almost unreal, but military researchers around the world are actively developing these systems right now. Reports from 2026 claim that a single PLA operator could coordinate more than 200 AI-assisted drones at the same time using one control system. These drones are reportedly designed for attack missions rather than simple surveillance. Experts say large drone swarms could overwhelm defenses by approaching from multiple directions at once, creating serious challenges for ships and military installations trying to stop them all simultaneously. Military analysts say one of the biggest concerns surrounding modern drone swarms is how inexpensive, fast, and adaptable they can be compared to traditional weapon systems. Reports claim that some advanced drone programs are being designed with autonomous backup functions, meaning they may continue operating even if communications are disrupted or jammed during combat. That possibility has sparked major debate among defense experts because it could reduce the effectiveness of electronic warfare tactics that militaries have relied on for years. Many of these systems are also being developed with AI-assisted targeting and coordination features. Analysts warn that large groups of drones could potentially overwhelm defenses simply through sheer numbers, approaching from multiple angles at the same time, and forcing ships to respond rapidly under pressure. Another issue experts keep highlighting is cost imbalance. Defensive interceptor missiles used by advanced warships can cost extremely large amounts per launch, while smaller attack drones may be far cheaper to produce in large quantities. Analysts say that difference creates a serious challenge because even highly advanced naval defenses could face strain if forced to counter massive waves of incoming drones during an extended engagement. According to many defense analysts, the growing concern around large-scale drone warfare is not only about technology, it is also about numbers and sustainability during combat. Even advanced military systems can face pressure if they are forced to defend against overwhelming amounts of incoming threats at the same time. Experts say this balance between low-cost offensive systems and expensive defensive interceptors is becoming one of the biggest debates in modern warfare today. Now moving to number 2, the YJ-21 hypersonic anti-ship missile. If drone swarms represent a quantity threat, analysts say the YJ-21 represents a high-speed precision threat on an entirely different level. Reports claim the missile is deployed on China's Type 055 destroyers, warships already viewed by many experts as some of the most heavily armed surface combat ships currently operating. The YJ-21 is believed to travel at extremely high hypersonic speeds, reportedly reaching around Mach 10 under certain conditions. Military experts say speeds like that could dramatically reduce reaction time for targeted ships, leaving crews with only moments to detect, track, and respond before impact. Military analysts say the YJ-21's speed is only part of what makes it such a serious concern. Reports suggest the missile may also use a steep terminal attack path, diving toward targets from high angles during the final stage of flight. Experts point out that many traditional naval defense systems were primarily designed to intercept threats approaching from lower trajectories across the horizon, not fast-moving weapons descending almost vertically from above. Systems like close-in defense guns and short-range interceptors remain important layers of protection, but analysts continue debating how effective they would be against advanced hypersonic attacks moving at extreme speed and changing angles during descent. public information on real-world interception capabilities remains limited, which is why these weapons continue drawing so much attention in military discussions worldwide. Reports also indicate China plans to expand deployment of these missiles across more advanced warships in the future, adding to concerns about how naval warfare may continue evolving over the next decade. Now we move to number 1, the Type 003 Fujian supercarrier. After hearing about missiles, drone swarms, and anti-ship systems, it may seem surprising that an aircraft carrier takes the top spot on this list, but according to defense experts, the Fujian represents something even bigger: China building the capability to directly compete with American naval power on a global scale. Because the Type 003 Fujian is not just another warship, it is being viewed by many analysts as a massive statement about China's long-term military ambitions. The message behind it is hard to ignore. China is not only developing systems designed to challenge aircraft carriers, it is also building advanced carriers of its own to expand power far beyond its coastline. In late 2025, China officially commissioned the Fujian into active service with President Xi Jinping attending the ceremony personally. Defense experts noted that this launch represented a major milestone for China's naval industry because the ship was developed domestically rather than based heavily on older foreign carrier designs. One of the biggest talking points surrounding the Fujian is its use of electromagnetic catapult technology, often called EMALS. This advanced launch system is also used on the USS Gerald R. Ford, one of America's most modern supercarriers. Analysts say the technology allows aircraft to launch more efficiently and supports a wider range of future aircraft designs. The Fujian reportedly displaces around 80,000 tons, making it one of the largest warships ever built in Asia. Reports also state the carrier is expected to operate advanced aircraft such as the J-15T fighter and the newer J-35 stealth fighter, both seen as major parts of China's future naval aviation plans. The Fujian's electromagnetic catapult system is a major upgrade compared to older launch methods used on China's earlier carriers. Analysts say this technology allows heavier aircraft to launch more efficiently with faster turnaround times and greater operational flexibility. That means the carrier could potentially support more advanced aircraft and sustain air operations at a much higher pace during missions at sea, and the Fujian is only part of a much larger expansion. China now operates 3 aircraft carriers while the United States still maintains a much larger fleet overall. But what continues grabbing attention from defense experts is the speed of China's naval construction program. Military officials and analysts have repeatedly noted how quickly Chinese shipyards are producing new warships and expanding naval capabilities across multiple categories. The Fujian ranks at number 1 not necessarily because it is the most destructive system discussed on this list, but because of what it symbolizes strategically. Analysts say it marks a shift from China focusing mainly on regional defense toward building the ability to project military power farther across the Pacific and beyond. At the same time, experts continue emphasizing that the United States Navy remains the world's largest and most experienced naval force, with decades of operational experience, advanced technology, and global reach that still set the standard internationally. America is not standing still either. The US military is investing heavily in new laser defense systems, advanced stealth drones, upgraded missile interceptors, and entirely new naval strategies built for modern warfare. Defense experts say the era of aircraft carriers operating close to hostile coastlines without major risk is fading fast, forcing militaries to completely rethink how future conflicts could play out across the Pacific. Back in 1996, American carrier groups could move through the region with overwhelming confidence. Today, analysts say the situation looks far more competitive as China continues expanding its missiles, warships, drone technology, and hypersonic programs at a rapid pace. The balance of power in the Pacific is evolving, and military planners around the world are paying close attention. If this video gave you a new perspective on how quickly global military technology is changing, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. There's a lot more coming, and the Pacific story is only getting more intense from here. See you in the next one.